In these uncertain economic times, it's easy to be worried about protecting your wealth, your hard-earned savings, and your family's financial future. Plunging interest rates, the devaluating dollar, and political unrest constantly threaten what you have worked hard to earn and all that you own. That's why now it's more important than ever to protect your assets and have the money you need to make your dreams come true. Welcome to the Global Wealth Fortress Report with successful global entrepreneur and wealth preservation expert Joel Nagel. Joel's helped thousands of people just like you protect what you have so that you can make even more and make your every dream come true. So, sit back and enjoy Joel Nagel's offshore expert advice on how you can live the good life at a great price, where the sun never sets on your financial fortress.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Global Wealth Fortress Report. My name is Joel Nagel, and I'm speaking to you today from my offices in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. As I mentioned yesterday, we're going to talk today about the concept of trust. A trust is really a foundational structure for most people looking to protect, preserve, and pass on their wealth. So it's an integral part of a global wealth fortress. Now, the trust in its current form has been around under English common law for over 1,000 years, going back to the days of the Crusades. In a nutshell, the King of England was trying to protect and preserve wealth to support the Crusades. The king had actually helped build up the island of Malta, and on the Malta Islands had created a launching point for troops going over to the Middle East, to Jerusalem. And then consequently on the way back, folks that were injured would receive assistance and respite there in Malta. So one of the first really big military hospitals of our day was built in Malta. And like a lot of governments, past and present, the government at the time was operating on deficit spending. The king was borrowing more money than he had. And at one point, the noblemen, the creditors, were taking action to try to collect on the debts owed to them. And so they went to the courts of equity and said, hey, wait a minute, the king has all this gold stashed away in Malta. He owes that gold to us. We'd really like to get that wealth so that we can pay off our debts. And the courts at the time said, well, it wasn't put there to evade you. It was put there for a specific purpose, and that purpose is to support the military troops going in and out of Jerusalem. And so the courts refused to intervene, and really our modern trust law was born. Now, some people say trusts go back even further. Under Roman law 2,000 years ago, only a Roman citizen who was male could inherit property. So if you were a wealthy family and you were trying to leave property, let's say to a daughter, you would enter into a contractual relationship with a Roman male who would become your legal heir, but would hold that property for the benefit of your own, let's say, daughter. So in one form or another, trusts have been around literally thousands of years. The concept in its most simple form, really in a nutshell, is that the trust itself is a separate legal juridical person. Okay, it's not a natural person like you or me, but it's a legal person similar to a corporation or other types of legal entities. But as a legal person, it can take, own, and hold assets. So, excuse me, if I transfer my assets to a trust, excuse me again, let me grab a drink. If I transfer my assets to a trust, and that trust is the legal owner of those assets, and you come and try to sue me to take those assets away, how would you possibly be able to do that? I don't own the asset anymore. I don't possess it anymore. So that, in a very simple nutshell, is how asset protection trusts work. Now, why are offshore trusts, international trusts outside the United States, even more protective than, let's say, domestic trusts? Well, it has to do with jurisdiction shopping. If somebody's going to challenge a trust in, let's say, Pennsylvania, where I live, or California, or Nebraska, or any place in the U.S., they're going to be doing it under that state's law, or in some cases, federal law. But if I create the trust in another jurisdiction, remember, we said under English common law, we're creating a new legal juridical person. Well, if we create that new legal juridical person in Belize or Liechtenstein or the Cook Islands, then to try to sue that entity, you would have to go to that jurisdiction. So creating a foreign trust is just the most protective step you can take, because not only are you creating this legal structure that's been around and protected and observed for the last 1,000 years, but you're also doing it in a jurisdiction where the laws of that jurisdiction are very, very protective when it comes to trusts. So that is really Trust 101, or let's say International Trust 101. It really, truly is a foundational piece when it comes to building a global wealth fortress. For most of my clients, creating an asset protection trust is really, truly the first step. Now, again, there are many reasons beyond the jurisdiction shopping. And in the next episode, I'm going to talk more about the advantages and the reasons why you would want to consider an overseas trust as opposed to a domestic trust. So I hope you'll join me for the next episode. Until then, I wish you every happiness, health, and wealth that cannot be attacked and destroyed by others. Until then, see you soon. Goodbye.
Thanks for joining Joel Nagel and the Global Wealth Fortress Report, a whole new approach to asset protection and estate planning, so that now you can live the good life at a great price, where the sun never sets on your financial fortress.